So I'm here right now with Michelle Bedore, who's not only a member of our congregation, but is also an LIMHP. She's a licensed and independent mental health practitioner. And so here, as we talk about the story of Cain and Abel and how anger can lead us to make mistakes and can draw us into sin sometimes, I've asked Michelle to come and talk about just kind of what anger is, and then what other feelings or emotions it might be masking. So Michelle, can you talk to us a little bit about anger then?
Yeah, so anger is kind of an interesting feeling because we refer to it as kind of a secondary feeling, meaning we feel something else first, typically. So when someone first comes in and they say they're struggling with some anger, I'll ask a lot of questions just to get some more information about, okay, what do you mean by anger? What is that exactly? What are you experiencing? And what are just some other things going in your life that are contributing to some of those feelings? So for some people, it actually kind of looks like anxiety. They feel really irritated or frustrated about the things that they can't control in their life. And so it's presenting as anger, but it's actually anxiety. Kind of same with depression. They can present as anger, but actually some of their underlying issues are like sadness or just feeling really hopeless about any positive changes that are happening in their lives. Relationships, that's a big one too, that a lot of people will say, well, I feel really angry when I communicate with my partner. Well, that's their secondary feeling. Usually their primary feeling is something like hurt. They're feeling really hurt and they're not quite sure how to express that to their partner. So anger can be kind of a way that they protect themselves from that anger and that resentment, because they don't want to be vulnerable in those moments with their partner.
I think it's really helpful to think about that anger can be a mask, like a secondary emotion, and even a protective emotion for us. That's really interesting to think about.
Mm-hmm.
So what would be, if maybe someone watching this and worshiping with us right now maybe feels like they struggle with anger somewhat, what would be some coping skills for them?
So usually the first thing I'll suggest is that they do some mood tracking or journaling, just because that can be so complex for them to think about what is triggering me, what are some changes that I'm having in my mood throughout the day, what are some stressors that are contributing to that. So it's kind of a good like self-assessment tool to be able to track that. What does that look like throughout your day with your mood? And so once they can kind of get a better understanding of, oh, this is why I expressed anger, I was actually feeling this, they can start to use some more coping skills. So once they kind of do that tracking, then I'll do something what's called a SUD scale. So it's kind of a way to measure how distressed we feel. So I'll do like 0 to 10. What's your 10 on when you're the most angry that you can possibly be? And we talk about what our body feels like at that 10, what our behaviors are doing at that 10, and what other people would observe in us when we're at that 10. And we kind of try to do all the numbers, which can be kind of hard, but we'll do the whole scale. And then the goal of that is to be able to say, okay, when you're actually at a 5 or 6, what's happening? And can we do some coping skills before you get to an 8, 9, 10, almost kind of as a preventative. So let's say if it's anxiety and we know we're at a 5 or 6, okay, do we need to do some fact checking or problem solving about what we're worried about so that we don't become really angry about it? Do we just need to talk to somebody? Do we need to take a break from the situation? That's usually the big goal with that one, is can we take a break before we get to the 8, 9, 10? Get out of that environment that's stressing us out a little bit. Do we need to go outside? Change the scenery, some exercise. That's a great one for anger as well. A lot of people do like to journal too, especially when maybe they're feeling angry in their relationship. If they can take a minute, still verbalize all those thoughts, but put it on paper, then they can communicate a little bit more effectively when they're not feeling so upset about those things.
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you again, Michelle, for sitting down and helping us to talk about what anger is and then how we might be able to manage some of those angry feelings that we have. So thank you so much.
Of course, thanks.